Hi there and welcome to Influence, a program hosted by the College of Ag and Life Sciences. I'm Jessica Graves. I'm the new host here. I'm Director of Undergraduate and Graduate Advising for the College of Ag and Life Sciences. Today we're going to learn a little bit about our new internship program and hear from a couple of students of ours here in the College of Ag and Life Sciences about their internship experience at the Mississippi Aquarium this summer. So first we're going to start with Miss Maya Dixon. Maya, welcome, and tell us a little bit about your academic experience, your major, where you're from, and let the audience get to know you a little bit.
Thank you, Ms. Graves. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maya Dixon. I'm an animal and dairy science major with a pre-veterinary concentration. I am originally from Chicago, Illinois, but I moved to the coast in Biloxi, Mississippi around my teenage years, which is how I ended up here at Mississippi State, and I have loved it ever since. I had the opportunity to be a research/interpretation intern this summer at the Mississippi Aquarium. So a little bit about that is during interpretation, I would educate the public on the different animals and species of the animals that we had in the park. And for research, we did a lot of different things for that. I got to participate in different necropsies pertaining to sharks or stingrays, sorry, lost the name for a second, and also got to work behind the veterinary doctor there and the research doctor there at the Mississippi Aquarium. So yeah, I had a wonderful time.
So Maya, tell us, how does your experience align with your professional career? So you've mentioned a lot about maybe doing some veterinary work. So I'm assuming that maybe you want to go to vet school. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, ma'am. I do strive to go to vet school. What's really unique about working at the Mississippi Aquarium is I'm used to cows and horses and livestock animals, and this was fish and dolphins and birds and otters and crocodiles, and it was just so different because I have never been able to work with animals like that, and seeing how the anatomy of them is different from livestock animals, but they also can relate in a lot of the same ways, was really, really interesting and fascinating to learn.
How cool. This is such a good experience. So next, let's talk to Dana. Dana, tell us a little bit about yourself, your major. Tell us also a little bit about what you did as an intern at the Mississippi Aquarium this summer.
Hi, Jessica. So my name is Dana Poor. I am from Hurley, Mississippi, and I was an interpretation intern this summer, and my degree is in agricultural science. So as an interpretation intern, I learned a lot about all the animals we had at the aquarium and then translated that information to guests so that they could understand, and sometimes was on the job interpreting what was going on research-wise, and then being able to relay it to the guests in a way that they understood.
So Dana, tell me how that aligns with maybe your professional and career aspirations.
So my career aspirations are to go join Disney's agricultural sciences team over in the Living with the Land Pavilion. And part of that is being able to give tours to guests through their greenhouse systems. So for me, it allowed me more experience to be able to communicate sometimes complicated matters into more simple terms for everyone to understand.
That's great. And you mentioned communication especially. Communication is one of those soft skills that we often talk about. So maybe tell us a little bit about how your academic career in your current major prepared you for some of those soft skills that were going to be expected of you in terms of content delivery and that kind of thing. Tell us how your academic program actually prepared you for this experience.
So I've taken courses like professional writing and presentations, which really teaches us how to be able to present to a group, be comfortable in our own skin while sometimes presenting complicated information. I've also completed an undergraduate research project. So I already had the experience of being able to interpret and understand research material and then put it into a more layman's terms, which really prepared me for this internship.
Sure, that's awesome. Maya, let's flip back to you here just a second and talk about some of those soft skills as well. So your experience and your role as an intern was slightly different than Dana's by and large, but talk about how those soft skills, what were the soft skills that you had to use, and did your academic career prepare you for those experiences?
So yeah, they definitely did. I would say that Mississippi State has taught me things like time management and organization. Communication, like Dana said, was a big one. Being professional at all times was a big one as well. And I took all that and I transferred it to the aquarium. And they also helped me progress on growing with those skills as well.
All right, that's a really cool experience too. So let's talk next about what was the most memorable experience that you have. So I think if you were to just take a second to reflect on that one thing that really stood out to you over the summer. I'm sure you had a million cool experiences, but let's focus on one of those and tell the audience about what that memorable experience was for you and maybe why it was so memorable. Go ahead,
So
Maya.
I would say that the most memorable experience for me was definitely being able to release an endangered sea turtle. Me and the other interns got to release a Rimp Kidley's sea turtle into the ocean. And it was really special for us because, as you know, sea turtles are endangered all over the world right now. And it's also really special because not everybody was able to touch these turtles. They picked specific people, and the fact that they picked the interns to do so, it was just truly amazing.
Cool. Dana, what about your experience? If you could just name one memorable experience, what would you say that experience was and why? Why was it so meaningful?
So my memorable experience is also helping with the Camps Ridley sea turtle release. So I volunteered to go work the release on the education side, so educating all of the guests that came out to see that release about Camps Ridley sea turtles and all the different 7 species of sea turtles, so they could understand why it was so important for us to be having that release. About halfway through the release, I got to find out that being one of the interns, I also was going to get to help with the release, which was not something I was expecting to get to do, just because it's not part of the role I was a part of. But the fact that I got to actually be hands-on and help with the sea turtle release was really just absolutely amazing. And just being able to help carry this animal out and know that it's going to live on and hopefully reproduce and just be better for its species. Just one of those once in a lifetime experiences that I know more than likely I'm never going to have again.
Yeah. So we talk oftentimes about the value of these types of experiences in terms of growth. Okay, so stepping out of your comfort zone in these growth moments. Dana, what would you say is, if you were talking to another student, what would you encourage them to do in terms of stepping out of their comfort zone and maybe trying something like this?
Just to honestly take every opportunity you're given. In particular, the Camps Ridley sea turtle, I didn't have the right type of clothes or shoes, and we were walking out in the middle of the ocean. So quite literally 5 minutes before, I'm emptying out my pockets, dumping my shoes, everything, just diving in, and just not worrying about how I looked in the moment or what other people would think of me, but just enjoying the experience for what it was and just jumping in wholeheartedly, even if I didn't know all the information.
Sure. And Maya, you are from Chicago originally, or Illinois, I'm sorry. You said you were from Illinois originally. So what does this look like? How did this experience maybe challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone, knowing that there was going to be growth through that experience?
It definitely challenged me. I would say the biggest way it challenged me was there were so many opportunities and experiences, but you're not going to know unless you open your mouth and talk to people. And that's something that I struggled a lot with coming from Chicago because, Mississippi is completely different from that. However, as soon as you start opening your mouth, you never know who you're sitting next to. So just be sure to introduce yourself, have manners at all times.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that you ladies rocked it this summer as interns at the Mississippi Aquarium. We only have a few minutes left. Would each of you kind of give some closing remarks on maybe words of encouragement to other students that are considering maybe applying in the future for that Mississippi Aquarium internship experience? Maya, why don't you go first?
I definitely encourage you to never second guess yourself. I was very hesitant about applying for this internship at first because it was kind of late notice when we got the application, but I still went ahead and went for it, and I still ended up getting it. I also want to say be social. Make sure you are taking all the chances and opportunities that are out there for you. Gain experience, get involved around campus. That's a really important thing that you want to make sure that you're doing. Communicate with your professors, with your friends, just everybody around you. Like I said, you never know who you're sitting next to.
There is so much truth to that, no doubt. So Dana, why don't you tell us a few last words and maybe words of encouragement for future students that are considering this particular internship at the aquarium?
So what I would say to future students applying for this internship, even if you know nothing about the Gulf Coast or any type of fish or sea animals at all, apply anyway. I didn't know very much. You learn a lot on the job. They're constantly teaching you. You're constantly learning, and it's completely okay just to tell them, I don't know, but go after the information and learn more, because it's really going to open your eyes to so many more opportunities and possibilities, and you really can make some impacts that you don't realize by advocating for these animals, so that we have many of them to come in future generations. But just always just jump off and just try it.
I think you both have shared some amazing words of encouragement and inspiration, and again, it's been so much fun to learn about your experiences. I'm a little bit jealous that you got to have such a cool experience over the summer. But for those of you watching at home, we are so proud of these students. We encourage experiential learning through examples like this internship program. This is a new partnership with the College of Ag and Life Sciences, the College of Forest Resources, and the Mississippi Aquarium. And we hope that future students will take this advice that Maya and Dana have shared today and step out of their comfort zone, get some of that experience, and really allow growth to happen in a way that would help develop them as the next generation of agricultural professionals. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today. I hope this was fun for you, and I wish you the best this fall semester. And if I can help in any way, let me know. See you later.